Hello, and welcome everybody to this second recording with Dearbhla Reynolds from the Culture Club for us on this Menstrual Hygiene Day. Welcome, Dearbhla. Thanks for agreeing to come on again.
My pleasure.
Last year, Dearbhla spoke to us about the importance of gut health in relation to something that I think everybody can relate to, which is sugar cravings. How do we manage sugar cravings when we're looking at our gut health? How do we get the two things together? With fermented foods, of course, was the answer. And I will link the video from last year under this video so that you can listen to it if you haven't done so yet. But today we're going to look into another aspect of menstrual health, hormonal health, and gut health. And this is a balancing of our hormones. There is an evident link when you first think about this, where our digestive system sits directly in neighbor with our gynecological system, our reproductive system. So if our digestive system is bloated or there's inflammation, evidently there's going to be pressure exerted on our reproductive system, which is not going to be great news. But there is a more interesting link, isn't there?
There always is.
Beyond the vicinity, the neighbor status of these two systems, where we're talking about things, for instance, estrogen, one of our hormones that in women's case is widely known to sometimes be off balance, and how a sluggish gut, a gut which is not working properly, would have an impact on the amount of estrogen that is hanging around in our system.
Yeah.
Are we excreting it? Are we processing what we need and then blocking what we don't need? So let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, well, it all comes back to essentially trying to get the digestive system to operate as it should do. We're, very good at kind of taking in the food and swallowing it straight away and not actually spending a bit of time trying to digest it at the very initial stage in our mouth. Even if we skip this bit and it ends up in the stomach, a lot of the issues that we find we have are things like low stomach acid, possibly too much stomach acid. It's this kind of strange balance. So this first point in the digestive tract becomes a kind of area of concern, and how long that's going to take to then get the food ready and processed to be sent on down through the intestines for absorption. So, there are ways that we can look at igniting that fire in the belly to begin with. And aside from fermented foods, which we will come back to in a moment, the idea of using things like digestive bitters or bitter foods are becoming increasingly important in this whole picture, because we are a diet and a nation that's very fond of salty and sweet. And those are kind of immediate tastes that we respond to and we like. But, choosing to eat something bitter is not something that we actively do. So making that conscious choice to reach for something bitter in your diet is a really, really fantastic toolkit to put into your kind of little health check. And
because we're basically, from what I understand, that like what we're trying to do is to shorten the transit time of what we put in our mouths and the time it goes out.
Yes, so the whole idea is that the foods go in, they give you energy, and they go out, and digestion should not be taking 5-6 hours. We literally should be eating food, feeling the energy from it. It's excreted before we eat again, which is something that might blow people's minds.
I know.
Is that it's actually being pushed out. Not that there's this backlog of waste that needs to kind of be excreted.
And that's the case exactly for estrogen, the hormone I spoke about at the beginning, because there is a certain amount of estrogen, of course, we need. But when we have this estrogen that we ingest through our foods and stuff, hanging around our gut for too long, and this reabsorption.
It's going to be reabsorbed, recycled, and it's not actually going to ever pass out with the food that we are, that we're eating and the waste that we're creating.
And that will throw us off balance. I have a list here from Dr. Christian Northup of excess estrogen and the sort of issues that it causes in our health, and it's pretty awful. Decreased sex drive, irregular or abnormal menstrual cycles, bloating, breast swelling, headaches, mood swings, weight gain, all sorts of awful things when we have estrogen.
Very characteristic of things that would be, troubling you around times of premenstrual situations, and they're kind of indicating factors that your estrogen is out of balance.
So we're talking about bitter foods, we're talking about fermented foods, and we're talking about bitter complements or supplements to our diet. So tell us about that.
Yeah, well, certainly, eating a fermented food as a regular part of your diet is going to help that whole process. It's just going to make the food digested quicker. It's going to help with the whole enzyme breakdown of the food, and you're going to end up doing it makes your digestive system operate as it should do. You're, as I said before, you're eating the food, you're getting the fuel, and the waste is being put out for the bin. But what we're finding is that there are issues beyond just eating fermented foods, and how we need to add a little bit of extra help. And so things like some bitter leaves or options are things like the endives or dandelions. They're out and about everywhere at the moment.
Yes.
Even getting some of the petals and infusing the petals in apple cider vinegar, that's a really great way. Apple cider vinegar itself would be a fantastic thing to take in and to try and get that whole digestive juice flowing.
Yes.
And something that I'm very fond of making, and it's very, very easy to make at home yourself, is digestive bitters. The idea is that I tend to make a non-alcohol based one. So using apple cider vinegar, I infuse it with things like dandelion root, and then lots of citrus, lots of turmeric, lots of pepper, lots of herbs. You can get quite aromatic with it, you can get quite herbal with it. You can just, as long as you've got a strong bitter component, and then you're adding in these different flavors, it becomes another endless possibility of kind of flavors and things that you can do. So you're not dreading it, you're actually intrigued by what it is you're creating.
And you're talking about citrus fruits, so even the hot drink, lemon drink you can have in the morning.
Yeah, well, I would actually tend to, I
love
love to run a wasteless kitchen. So, we juice a lemon.
Okay.
Fantastic. We put the lemon juice in our water and we drink that. Fantastic. But then we actually throw away the most important part of the lemon. So the skin and the pith, they all actually carry more nutritional value and benefits than the lemon juice itself. So what I tend to do is save all of those up and use that to become the base of my bitter, digestive bitters. And it becomes a hugely exciting thing. Then you kind of can't wait to see what the new composition is. But
and digestive bitters, from what I've heard, are also great for the gut, but also for the liver, which helps us process the whole toxic hormonal excess bits that we don't need.
They're going to help clear those channels so that you can start to detox properly. That's the liver is there to help you excrete the waste, so they're going to help with that whole process.
And clearly, if we're not processing and ingesting and squeezing the goodness out of stuff, the same will happen if we're taking expensive supplements that we buy. Where they're being just hang around.
We're not going to be absorbing them properly. We're not going to be. You essentially don't need to supplement. Everything that you need can come from nature, and you just have to know where and when to put it in and in what combination. I think that's the
fabulous.
That's the key. Yeah.
So you have a bottle here of one of your bitters. Tell us about
it's just an example. This one it comes in. I put in a little spray bottle, so it becomes something that I remember to do before I eat. I just take a couple of sprays of it.
Can I try it?
Yes, this one is the one that you like, actually, specifically. It's a chocolate one.
I didn't want to say because I tried this before, and oh my word.
Yeah,
cacao.
It's a lovely. It's very heavy on the chocolate. But the idea is that you take it in before you eat. It gets your digestive system ready for food, so you're already starting to feel this kind of, oh, something's coming in, and you know the bile production is starting, and you're ready for your digestive system to start working as it needs to. So I would find for people that are experiencing things like, there is a big confusion around stomach acid. So people that are low in stomach acid, they generally tend to bloat after they eat, because food has got through that shouldn't have got through. And I would suggest you take the digestive bitters beforehand so that your digestive system's ready. On the other hand, if the thought of stomach acid freaks you out and you're constantly the type of person having to take like antacids
tablets,
which are like they're awful for your health. If your stomach acid is quite high and you're somebody that gets heartburn a lot, I would suggest you take this afterwards. So you eat in the food, you put the digestive bitters in, and that again helps.
It's like a cushion, and you don't get the heat of the bitter directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no excuse really.
There's no excuse. It works either end. It works either end.
And when you think about the amount of money that we're spending, women spend every month on supplements to help them balance their hormones, to, you know, all these things to help us deal with stress. I'm thinking the magnesium, all these things.
Absolutely. Or even, you know, those that don't spend any money on it, but then suffer.
Yes.
Through the month.
But more so if you do spend the money, are you actually absorbing what you're putting in? All these expensive and beautiful herbals and stuff.
They're all there around you for free most of the time. So yeah.
Great. Would you like to conclude this with some idea on these bitters? Anything else you want to share with us, Dearbhla?
Well, I mean, certainly for myself, I would have suffered from low stomach acid, and it took me a while to actually identify that as kind of a missing link in the puzzle. So no matter how much fermented food I ate, I would still occasionally have these kind of sensations of maybe a bit of bloat, and then it becomes you can feel a little bit defeated by your efforts sometimes. So having introduced this in has been a great little introduction. And I actually, I have a couple of bottles. I have a bottle in the office, I have a bottle in my bag, I have a bottle at home, and I kind of have them with me so that I do take them, and I would take them even, well in advance of eating sometimes, just for that little, you kind of feel alive.
It's like a kick, it's like a boost for sure. I feel that. But this is exactly the beauty of talking to people like you, Dearbhla, because you walk your talk, and it is this experience, and I always talk about an embodied wisdom. Everybody can repeat things like parrots and talk about all sorts of things. We can all memorize things, but when we actually put them into practice in our lives is when we're actually able to share with other people what works for you, how it works for you, and this makes the whole difference. Absolutely. That's when people actually connect with what you're saying and say, oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense. You can't know something until you've actually lived it, I really think. And I really appreciate you sharing this with us, because it's part of your own personal path as well, where you say, I felt a little bit like there was something missing. This is another piece of the puzzle to our gut health, which for you, it makes a lot of sense. So there we go. Thank you very much, Dearbhla Reynolds. Till next year. I can't wait to see what you come up with next year. I know. This is a living, developing thing. So. Absolutely. There will no doubt be a new potion. Yes, so visit Dearbhla's Facebook page, The Cultured Club, and very, very active Instagram account as well, to find out what she's up to, where she's doing workshops, because she's very active that way. And actually, we will be in Dublin on the 10th of June. That's right. Sometimes we work together. Workshop to Dublin. Yes, hormones, fermented food, bitters, all the lot will be in Dublin soon, and I will post more about that under this video as well. So thank you very much, Dearbhla, again. Thank you, Mayela. Thank you very much for listening to us. Bye-bye now. Bye. I will stop this recording.